Alright, finally doing a little bit of serious work here to get the Eugene passenger station in place. What I did was I added I made a base for it, a foundation. Figured that would help. And what I'm working on now is the road coming in and the platform for the station. What I decided to do here, just because this road, it's not a main road, I want it to look kind of beat up and like it really needs to be repaved. So I'm going to use Woodland Scenic Smooth It. You can see I have the road formed. This crossing is going to be, the kind where it's paved right up to the rails. And then I'll carefully, notch it out here for the flangeways and everything. And then that goes back to this parking lot for American Sterilizer. And then I'm going to say, this is don't mind that. That's just something I was playing with. This is going to be a brand new parking lot because this is a brand new building that they built. I guess it looks okay for late 50s. If I say it's like brand new, they just built it. So the parking lot, I'll use the 2mm, 1mm foam because it's going to be like a brand new parking lot for the brand new building. And then, of course, these guys, the company's complaining because the road is bad and needs to be rebuilt, but the railroad says they don't have the money and the company doesn't have the money and blah blah. Anyway, so that's my story. So that'll be the road coming in. We'll have access up to Dock Junction Tower on that side. On this side, again, probably something that comes up to the Vallejo Paint. No, actually, it's going to come up to whatever this abandoned thing is here. So it'll be some gravel type road. This is the passenger car I was using for testing for the placement of the station. Make sure there were no issues on the coive. And then over here, I have it formed for the it'll be a paved platform here. This will be the front, what do you call it, form or curb, or I'm not sure what it is, but I looked at some prototype photos. The reference I'm using for this is actually out of an Erie Railroad facilities book. It's just a quintessential, gorgeous looking late 1950s passenger station environment. It's the coolest picture I've seen in a railroad book in a long time. So that's kind of my inspiration for this. Then the station will sit here. We'll have a kind of a gravel road come behind it to a little parking lot on this side. Like I said, then the platform will be there. So I'll get that. And this will I'll use Smooth It for this as well, just because it'll be, I think, a little bit easier. I don't know. It's kind of hard to tell, but that can be kind of a pain to work with. But I think I'll be okay. Then the next thing I got to do, obviously, get that all done and painted and crack the edges and get the siding or the crossing ready. Not going to have any flashers. Just going to have signs. That's another thing that probably should happen. They should have crossing protection. A little better than just a crossbuck. Maybe at some point I'll have, like, the new stuff laying here to be installed or something like that. But I'm not planning to do that. I'm going to have to figure out where to put the signal for the interlocking, because Eugene East starts right here, and then the double crossovers. And before I had the signal right about where the road is, I was going to put it on this side. I think it looked kind of cool, but I think I have 1x4 and benchwork structures under here that I can't drill through to get the wires out. So it might have to be right here, and it may have to be the cantilever. Although I probably could get a signal on each side here. Not sure yet, but if it's here, I think prototypically it's probably not right because it's way too close to this turnout. But all right, the rule book says because of limited space, you can't proceed past the end of the platform when the trains come in and have a less than favorable indication or something like that. I don't know. I'll come up with something, but just the way it is. I think it would kind of look cool to be here on the platform, but I think I'm going to have interference issues down below. So, all right, enough babbling. Let's get to work. Let's try to get this Smooth It whipped up and put in and see how things look. Okay, a little more work done over here. Got the road in, as you can see. It's got a base coat of paint on it. I'll come back and I'll weather it up later. No stripes. Again, this is just kind of a little side road that goes back here. The main road is out here. This is just a little access road to get back to the station, the parking lot for American Sterilizer. This will be a little bit dirt road coming up here to DJ Tower, and then probably something on this side, some old gravelly thing that went back to whatever that used to be in the long distant past that just hasn't fallen down yet. I did go ahead, I put a retaining wall there in the back just for fun. Got some Sculpt-A-Mold forming up around that. And to come back and repaint the coib for that. So I'm going to let that set, then I'll weather that. Both the platform, which is asphalt, and I'll weather that. Look like weathered concrete. Got a bunch of ballasting to redo in here. Just a quick note to self, at least using the Smooth It, it's fine. It's okay. Again, I got everything kind of cut out nice, but took a lot of time cleanup because I had, you know, dribs and drabs fell off and came over here, and it just was a lot of cleanup. So the Smooth It's nice. I like it. It works fairly well, but it can be an effort to clean things up if you get it everywhere. So I guess the moral is just be careful with it if you're using it, and it'll save you time in the future to clean up. So we'll keep plugging away at this and eventually get the station in. I'd like to get this area done here. I'm probably going to redo this. I don't really like it anymore now that things have progressed. I will use the 1mm foam for the parking lot. It matches up really, really well at the end of the road here. Try to get that done, and just, you know, kind of keep working down this way a little bit. Maybe not a whole lot farther, but at least get some of this done. This whole area here is terrible. I need to go back and redo that whole area. That's just been sitting like that for 2 years, 3 years. So I need some much better trees and try to get that area worked and then continue on. So, all right, more updates as we progress here. Alrighty, a little in progress here in the Eugene station area. I did get some of the initial ground cover, gravel for the parking lot and whatnot here around the station. I did run out of my favorite dark earth, so I had to run out to the railroad tracks and grab another batch, which I'm going to whip up today. So I did add a retaining wall back there just for fun. Get that all scenic. Like I said, there's a little lot where they're going to pull in here, and I'm going to come in and probably sand this a little bit, make it look a little bit more like smoother gravel. I got the, you know, back here, parking lot is in. Again, the concept here is, you know, the American Sterilizer Eugene plant, which is what this is. This whole ensemble is here along the back, all the way out to the center, is in a good place. They're expanding. So they just built this building. It's almost brand new. It's like within the last couple of years. That's why it looks a little bit more modern. Because I originally built it for a modern. Anyway, so that's why that's brand new. Everything's new here. So the parking lot's new. Now they're a little upset with the railroad because this road is not new. That's the old access road that originally just went back to the train station. And right now the railroad is refusing to put in flashers and gates there. So it's got the folks at the company a little upset, but we'll see how that progresses. So the lot's going to be relatively new. I'm going to weather it. I outlined, that's a 1mm foam, which matched up really well with the Smooth It that I did here. So we'll get that dressed up a little bit. I can figure out how I'm going to stripe it. Add a little sidewalk back here to these two access doors. I'm probably going to put a little bit of, you know, some nice grass in there with maybe the little ornamental tree that the company put in there, and then the rest of it I'm going to go ahead and scenic back. So far, let me go back. So for see, I put the curb around it because I think it looked better. Got one more to do. These are from Prizer. They're just curbing that I had. Certainly could do it with you know, strip wood or something else. Oh yeah, here it is. So I use these. These are Prizer article number 18200 curb stones. They're not bad. They're nice. And I had, like I said, I had them from the old layout, so that's what I went ahead and used for that. You wouldn't have to, but I had it, so I used it. And then I'm gonna move my glue. I did also, oh, I had to fix Shorty's tower. I think when he extracted it from the layout, you can see it looks kind of kludgy. The bottom 3 stairs had broken off, so the steps are kind of hanging in the air. It's like, ah! So I found a, a reasonable facsimile, I think from Central Valley. I think they make a set of stairs and ladders. I think it's Central Valley. I had the thing on my workbench, and I just cut them and very carefully glued it on there. Now, of course, I should probably add the railing to it. But what I wanted to do here, since what I'm trying to do is scenic, at least back to here, I added a foundation so I can take the tower off, and that way I can scenic up around it, you know, set this on there, like so. And then, in the future, come back and I have a way I probably could add an interior. I'd love to have an interior of that just because it's so close to the front of the layout. It will take some work, but I think I could do it. Accessing through the backside. I probably ought to add the railings to that, which I could do. Won't be fun, but I could do it. So anyway, so putting the foundation in, you know, allows me to get all the access road and some scenery and other stuff in, you know, up to here for now. I did go ahead and scenic up to here. I installed that, which just kind of plop it in there. You can see I have got some more weathering, got some earth and other goodies around it. I don't know what that was. That's just sitting there abandoned. It's not even used anymore. Most of the guys I talked to from the railroad don't even remember what it was for, but it's still sitting there. They never tore it down. This will be an access road. I'll come in here and sand that a little bit, make it look a little bit smoother. Have a haze bumper in there. That's one of the Tichy haze bumpers, which are nice. I think of all the ones out there, I like them the most. But man, are they nitnoid to put together. At least for me. I mean, they are just a pain in the boop. Anyway, got it together, so I have that installed. I have another one for the end of the yard lead track there. So, we'll keep pushing ahead here. When you get the lot striped, weathered, and you can see the big boss has got a spot in the front there. Nice looking car for the big boss, huh? I can figure out how else I want to do it. I'm going to put some over here, back. Again, it's too small a lot. It really is. Because if you try to figure out, well, how would they actually pull in here and drive without, you know, playing smash up derby? It's way too small. But it is what it is. So we'll go ahead and get that striped and weathered and then get all this sanded. Then the station's got to go in. I'm delaying that because I really ought to put gutters on it, but I really don't feel like putting gutters on it. I'm probably going to break down and put gutters on it because it's just such an obvious thing. And again, it's real close to the front, so it'll be pretty obvious. Then get some of the signage, crossbucks and whatnot, and keep forging ahead. Like I said, the goal for this is to get it out to roughly about here, done, and then I got to, you know, work the other way around and figure out, these are just sitting here. These are just stuff that I have just kind of plopped in there for now. Not saying it's going to be that way. All right, let's stop babbling and get back to work. All right, figured I'd just show this segment for some of the things you go through when you're working on your wonderful model railroad. This is kind of a modeler's dilemma here. Like I said, I want to have a little area here off to the left of the parking lot where the folks can come out of the lunchroom, maybe hang out and eat. And then, okay, so what do you do for the grass there? It's going to be a relatively well-kept area. So it's not going to be, you know, roughy or anything like that. So I don't want to use any wild grass or other grass mats I have. So I got a couple options here. This is a sill floor mat, 2mm lawn, basically. You can see how it's kind of, I don't know, it's going to be able to see with the camera equipment I have. Sits in there pretty nice. It's a little bit higher than the edge of the sidewalk, but that might be okay. All right, so that's one option. That's one piece cut. Now I also have some Heki grass mats, 2 different flavors. These are a little bit thinner. The sill floor mat is matte material, so you know it's got kind of the mat all the way through. The Heki are actually on paper. They're a little bit thinner, so when they sit in there, you can see, you know, the grass sits a little bit lower than the edge of the sidewalk there. And that's one color that I have. And then I have another color, kind of a little bit more, I think maybe autumny, a little more yellowish, you know, throughout it. So, which one do you use? Now, to be honest, in either way, whatever you pick, some people are going to, you know, agree with me and some won't. Some would pick this, some would pick that, and it's great. It's whatever you like. So I'm deciding more on, do I like the height, the way these ones look? I'm kind of, if I go with the Heki, I kind of like this one. You know, do I like the way that sits in relation to the sidewalk? Or do I like a little bit more the sill floor mat, which I think looks a little bit better in terms of, you know, looking like a lawn, but does sit a little bit more proud of the edge. You know, what's better? I don't know. So I kind of like that one, although I do like this one as well. Actually, all three of them are fine. Cognitive dissonance. And then I would rough up the edges and then kind of blend it in because it's, you know, right by the railroad tracks. I don't know if I want to put it like maybe a hedge back here, or it probably should be a fence, I would think. Something. And then I do have, like I said, I think it was kind of neat. These are just some commercial trees from MP Scenery, which actually is the same company. They buy them from the same company in Vietnam that makes the JTT tree. So you could put a tree, and it's kind of hard to tell with my giant gloppy hand in there. You know, a tree in there with a bench, or these are small enough, I could maybe even put two in there. You know, put two trees, and it's going to be hard to visualize because they're laying a picnic table in here. You know what I mean? The folks can come out of it because the door from the lunchroom's right here. They can come outside, chill out, enjoy watching some trains. Hopefully there's no locomotive sitting here burbling away. You know, I kind of like it with two trees because they're smaller. Now I might want to come in here and touch, you know, weather these a little bit. The color is a little garish. I might want to tone it down, the color a little bit, with some florist's spray paints or something like that. But, you know, I think that would look kind of neat. Again, a bench, you know, a picnic table, and some folks sitting there having their lunch. And that'd look kind of nice. Nice little scene. All right, so again, this is their MP. Let me probably can't, MP Scenery. That's where I bought some stuff. But again, they're made in Vietnam. I mean, it's the exact same company. These look really similar to JTT Scenery scenes. So the question comes down to, which one of these three do I use? Again, I kind of like this one, although I don't dislike this one. Again, let's do it again. I'm going to drag you guys through this because this is the agonizing stuff that you go through when you work on that. You know, that looks pretty good too. I kind of like the way that, maybe I'm going to change my mind. It sits, again, it's probably hard to see. It sits just a little bit lower, so it looks more like a lawn, I think, would look. This is good, but it sits a little bit more proud of the edge of the sidewalk. So I'm thinking maybe that one. And I will put a little bit of, you know, a real tiny little bit of dirt around the edges, just kind of blend it in. So I don't know. All right, so the next scene will surprise you, and we'll go with what I went with, and people can argue if I made the right choice or not. All right, hey, just more fun here on the layout. More to come as we work the scene some more. Yet another thing I have to worry about here, in amongst the road and striping and picnic areas. This is the end of an interlocking, so I have to put some type of signals here. And since I kind of scrunched things here and added a road, I really don't have a whole lot of room. But I do have this bracket signal. Now this was made back when I was modeling the Reading. So I know it's a little goofy, like, are you Pennsy, are you New York Central, are you Reading? Well, yes, I'm a little bit of everything. And the thing is, I paid a lot of money for that signal. I do have to verify it's wired correctly for the CMRI. I really hope it is. Because the more I'm looking at that there, I'd put it on a concrete base, but I think that would work there. I think it would look better than a signal bridge. Might be a little bit too tight to get in there. Individual signals on both sides. Yeah, I could do that. But you know, like I said, I paid for this darn thing. I might as well use it if the wiring's correct. I do gotta check that. Now, it's a little, probably a little goofy that the signal's literally right at the points. And I think by rule, the crew could come up right to the signal, which, yeah, all right, which would be okay. I mean, they're going to clear the points, but, you know, the rule will be they got to stop back here at the gravel pile or clear the station or something like that if they have a less than favorable aspect. But I do kind of like the way that looks. You know, it is off to the side. It doesn't kind of try to force things on this side. I like it. I like it. Now, it needs to be weathered up. And one of the heads is wrong. I just noticed. You probably won't be able to see it till it's lit. But the way the Redding did it, they had the green upper left, the yellow upper right, and the red at the bottom. Well, this one's backwards. The other ones are right. The bottom reds are always red. So this signal head, if it's wired right, is perfect. It's exactly the number of leads that I had with the old BLMI signals. And then just put 5 volts on those, and they'll always be red. So I could very easily stick it in there and use it. Now, would it be great for the crews that are trying to see that signal as they come across the... probably not ideal, but it's a model railroad. So I'm thinking of doing that. So that's just some more thinking. And again, I do have to verify the signal's wired correctly, because if not, then all bets are off. I need this wired common anode for the CMRI system. So I'm going to go back and look at my paperwork on this. And I hope I told them to do it that way. Anyway, all right, more thoughts, more possibilities here. You can see all the people drove over because they saw signals going up. They got really excited. So they all came driving over here to park. This guy even pulled off right over there. So they're all excited about that. I think it looks pretty good. You know, put a nice little concrete base on that, weather it up, wire it up, and there you go. Boom. I like it. All right, more to come as we keep working this scene here. Oi, what a mess. I forgot to do some filming here. Like I say, I get busy working. My first priority isn't... Anyway, so what I did, you can see I got this layer area going along here. I have that little picnic bench. I did use that one particular color. I got the one tree sitting there right now. I got the other one drilled, ready to go. But I got a little garbage can I want to add, maybe some signs in there before I secure things there. I did get the I'm going to call it ballast. It's not really ballast. The covering up around the tower. There's Dock Junction Tower waiting to be set on there. I'm not going to glue it. It's going to set there. What I'm doing now is I'm starting putting in some of the MBR Mats to kind of get this area blended in down around in here. I'm thinking of making a sign right here for, you know, American Sterilizer, Eugene Works, or something like that. This is all pretty much done. I'm working it in around here, back here. This looks like crap. It has to all be redone. I'll get to that, but I want to at least get this ground level done and kind of worked in down here to the parking lot and whatnot. So I'm throwing the MBR mats down and just having a good old time. Everything else is kind of a mess. You can't really see much, but I just wanted to kind of... I forgot to get this before I started. I probably should have. But this is the first layer of mats going in, and then we'll do some blending and get it blended in, and eventually come back and add, you know, trees and stuff. This won't be 100% done, but I want to get it moving. Have another one of those Nitinoid Titchy haze bumpers installed. I got this road in, and not road, access to the tower, and more to come. I'll get some overall shots when this is done. I have this area cleared out here for the signal. Good news! I did find out the signal I have is wired appropriately, so I'm going to use it. I need to figure out what the wires are, get a concrete base for it, get that installed. Then at least what I can do is I can put the signal in, and I don't have the CMRI working yet, but I can run, you know, 5 volts to each of the reds. So at least when you come over here and you look down there, there'll be a nice little signal with, you know, all red signals. So at least it's better than it all being dark. So, all right, enough babbling. Let me get back to work and then show this as we get a little bit further along, if I remember to. But I will definitely try to remember to tape another segment. Anyone care to join me for lunch? So, alright, so I got that little area down there. I got that's a Shapeways picnic table. I said those two MP scenery trees that looked like kind of nice ornamental. By ornamental, I just mean not, scruffy, natural, in the wild trees. These are trees that are planted and people tend to take a little better care of. And I did add some fallen leaves around there. There's a fence around there too. I don't know if I mentioned it last time. It's a railing fence that I had. Oh man, I think I bought it from Model Memories years ago. Just had it in the bag of tricks and figured, okay, I'll bring it out and use it. Alright, so that area is pretty much done. Well, yeah, we'll see. So I'm probably not going to have people there, at least not all the time, because that kind of static thing, over time, it's like, yeah, they never leave and they never get up from lunch. So maybe if I ever do an op session and I come by and there'll be people there sitting there, then the next scene there won't be or something like that. So I'm not going to put anything permanently there. That just doesn't make sense that it'd always be people there eating lunch. And then that's how Shorty's tower is going to fit in. Although I may have to do some more with the step. I forgot about the foundation I added. And again, I'm just going to sit it there for now, because in the future I might want to try to add some lights to it. Probably could use some lights, on this side as well. Anyway, for now it's good. I might just put it down with some hobby tack in the four corners just so it doesn't blow over. And I did paint the stairway. I probably got to again take it back to the bench and work on the railing and all that kind of good stuff. So alright, and then over here I added a little bit of a greenery around the whatever that platform was, because there's no way that wouldn't survive and not have some stuff growing around it. And I might even, I just noticed, this is kind of fun. See how this is kind of worn open here? What if we come back and have something growing up out of there? Wouldn't that be kind of fun? Yeah, I think that's going to happen for sure. Just have something kind of growing up out through here, just a little filigrane bush up, boop. And then I added a couple more. This needs to be worked again on this side some more because there's still kind of a straight line. But I'll come back and blend it in, kind of like I started to do up here. And then the access to the tower. That's in, up to the tower, parking lot. Yeah, I'm fine. Again, it's not a real old lot. This whole facility here is relatively new in the last couple of years. So I figured, yeah, it's going to start getting some weathering, but it won't be terrible yet. So the lines, I actually painted the lines and they're faded a little bit and used a little bit to kind of fade the lot, but didn't go crazy on it. And this area here, you can see that's come along quite a ways. It's got the mat down. I blended it in with the existing Heki wildgrass. Added some other small things. Again, kind of work the retaining wall in there. And then work the end here, where we come to the end of the little parking lot. Now this tree will probably leave because I don't like it. And all this abomination will leave eventually. It looks terrible. But I need to get some better trees, so I need to work on that. So I figured what I do is just kind of talk about... Oh, before I do that, this side here is not yet done. You can see these are mats are just kind of sitting here right now. I'm going to get some ideas. It's going to be a little bit greener color on this side because it is kind of by the water. So I figured the vegetation stuff might be a little bit greener. We're back here. Although it's hard to tell, it's kind of subdued. But it's not quite as bright green as this mat is. So I got to figure out how I'm going to work that in. That for right now, it's just kind of sitting there. But I ripped all the old stuff out because I didn't like it. So I want to get this whole area here done. Done is at least far enough along where I can say it's complete enough, then come back and super detail it later, because all this needs a whole lot more work. I mean, I need to add tufts around here, and there's a lot of work to do. Alright, so let me just pause and just kind of get some of this just for fun, just in case those are interested. What I actually used. Go ahead and show you what I used. Be right back. Alright, the main mat that was used back in there to cover everything up initially is an MBR type 18XL. Oh, you can't even read that, can you? Hold on, I think I got the f-stop a little bit cranked up here. Let me just darken it a touch and see if that's even more. Oh boy, the light's all glary. Type 18XL, which is the extra large. I really like these mats. To me, it's the way to go. So that was kind of the base layer, and then, like I said, I did match it in with the existing Heki grass and kind of blended it all together. Then I came back and added in a little bit of this is from, oh, again, geez, I can't get this right. I think you need to buy a better camera. These are from Polak. This is Short Flowers Light Violet, and I also use violet. They just kind of make, add some of the more texture and add a little bit more elevation to everything. And then some of these, kind of these larger shrubbery, are again from MBR. And again, I'm probably going to have to I need to get a better studio. They're bushes, I think they're called. Strauche aus Deutsch. Dark green 500 or 50-5001 from MBR. And then along the back, these here that I kind of started to drape over the edge there to hide the sharp corner. Same thing, just a light green color. Just get a little bit of variety. I really like these. These are pretty cool. These are actually, again, I see if I can do this with one hand. Why do you guys watch these horribly produced videos? So this is what the material is, and then you just rip it apart, and then I use the Beacon 3-in-1 glue and just dab it and boom, put it down. It really looks nice, and it's that nice vertical look. That's my biggest complaint about scenery that I see in a lot of layouts, is they just think that, oh, just grab some ground foam and clump foliage and you did scenery. Well, okay, but scenery is vertical, not clumpy. So that's why I'm trying to make it look a little more vertical. That's what scenery to me should be. All right. I used a little bit of a Martin Welberg. These are tufts on a sheet. You just kind of pull them out. They're kind of stuck. Excuse me. All around there in just different places. The larger bushes, those three, I just wanted to stick something in there. They are, again, from MBR, and they are Grosse Busche, Dunkelgrün, the dark green. Item 50-4001. Again, these are from MBR in Poland. So those are very nice. I think that's the bulk of it. And then little bits of that same mat were just torn off, and then you can kind of, just kind of stick it in, kind of like tufts. Work it in there, and then there's some little bushes here and there. What are they? I keep those boxes. Oh, I did. Yay! What we got for those? So those are, again, some of them are the smaller ones. Jeez, apologize for this. They're from Polak, and I can't tell if it's really legible or not. So these are low bushes, medium green. 9104, and again some Martin Welberg bushes, medium green, type D. The Martin Welberg stuff you can get at Scenic Express. The other stuff, unfortunately, you can't. Although they're supposed to be starting to carry some MBR stuff. I don't know how soon, but anyway, allegedly they're going to carry some. So that is kind of where we are. That's the scene as it looks now. Not done yet. Again, this area down, kind of down through here, will probably all be trees eventually. Not the horrible ones that are there now. So that's that. Then the similar process will be followed here to get the mats and then some bushes, and I haven't even done the filigrane bushes yet, which is the icing on the cake the scenic icing on its delicious landform cake. So that's coming as well. But overall, getting there. I like it. I like the way it's coming together. I think it'll be a nice little scene. I'm wondering if, since I've done all this work down here, if I might want to add another light. Maybe add another LED 2x2 light above it here so it's nice and visible. Anyway, so that's kind of where we are now. Looking back from that way. A lot to clean up before it looks like a real nice scene, but we're getting there. So, alright, more to come as we slog on here. Okay, here's the first round on this side. Like I said, I ripped out what was there. I just didn't like it. I guess as you progress and get new techniques, things change and you don't like the way things look, so you just do them with your new techniques. So that's this side, just with the, I'm going to call it the first layer and a half or so. And all that is, it is, let me show you. It's a Type X 8XL mat from MBR. And another one is left over. It was a slightly different tone, but it was very similar. So I don't know exactly what that one was. But it was very, very similar in the tones to it. That was down, cut up, different patches put in. And then these two again, the Polak Violet and Light Violet, were kind of pulled and strung and put along, mostly along, used that quite a bit along this embankment, kind of up to the tracks, because the mat wasn't the greatest. There's some of the mat down below as it gets down into the ditch there, where the little stream is. And then to tie it all together, some of my favorite Heki floor. What is this stuff here? They call it leaf foliage. It's upside down. I can't flip it or it's going to pour over the layout, but I've mentioned that time many, many times before. So now, come in here, put some bushes in. I think it just screams for some big bushes here up by the bridge. And then again, I'm not going to put a lot of trees on this side just because it is by the aisle. So just to keep errant elbows and coffee cups and whatnot from knocking things over, I might put some lower stuff, but nothing serious on this side. So let's get layer 2 in there and see how things look. Okay, layer 2. These are the bushes, same as I used on the other side. I figured it would look good to have a nice stand of them up here by the bridge, and then down kind of here along the water. Being careful, one snuck on this side, but gotta be careful. If you're the railroad, would probably keep that relatively clean, just so they're not having sharks run into bushes. And then I broke down and I did install. I have 2 MBR trees that I bought. Gorgeous, but wicked expensive. You cannot afford to do this for your whole layout. Well, I guess if you're not part of the 99% like I am, but that is an MBR tree. That spot right there was just screaming for a tree. In fact, the little freaking woodland scenics, when I ripped it out and threw it away, because that's what I want things to look like, and a long way to go. But I really like that. That just screamed big tree, put me here. That is actually, just for knowledge's sake, it is, probably can't even read that. Let me just see if this is any better. MBR 512302. It's a beech tree. Gorgeous. But again, they're definitely not inexpensive. And it's not something you're going to be able to do for your whole layout. At least I'm not going to be able to. I have one more. It's a weeping willow, which I want to use over behind the ammonia supply by that pond area. Although at some point I need to get rid of this ridiculous looking weeping willow. That's, I think, a JTT. That looks like crap. I mean, can you imagine a nice huge weeping willow tree right here, you know, coming down into the wall? Oh, that would look so awesome. So a lot of work to do over there yet. So alright, so that's how this area is shaping up. A little drone action. And now, I think the next thing I'll do is come in and put some of the filigrane bush in, and then call it good for now. I want to get the station in. I'm still deciding if I want to add gutters to it. But looking nice. I like this. This looks so much better, I think, than the way I had it before. So again, as time goes on, your techniques change and improve. And now this area is getting pretty close to being, I won't say done. I started, I got a lot of switch machines, of course, the signal, relay boxes, signal cabinets, more debris, and put some time. Still quite a bit of work, but it's to that, 90% where I can, start working on other stuff and then come back on this. And if someone came over, it would look relatively good. So, all right. Man, I like that tree. All right. More to come. All right. One thing I just figured I'd show just for fun. I'm getting ready to actually install this signal, but I wanted to test it before I put it in, because it's got, a lot of heads on it, and if I get something in there that doesn't work, I'll be really upset with myself. And it turns out, if I didn't have bad luck, I'd have no luck at all. I'll show you. I went through and tested this. I think I'm going to be okay. What I do is I have a Logic Rail Technologies signal tester, just to make things a little bit easier. You put a 9-volt battery, you can hook it up common anode, common cathode, whatever you have. I've got common anode. And then you can test the signals. So I got it hooked up here just for fun. And like, for example, for the middle right signal head here, I can toggle on through the red, the yellow, and the green. So clear, approach, stop. So I went through and tested them all. And the only issue I have, this top right head, this one right here, the green I think is burned out. Or, I don't know, or it's shorted somewhere in the run, I don't know. I did try to play around a little bit with the wires in the back, very, very carefully. So that means the best or most permissive indication I get off of this right-hand signal will be an approach. I think I'm okay with that. It's coming into Eugene yard. If he's going to be switching, I can always give him, red over yellow, red over green, or, red over flashing indications, yeah. So I think I'll be all right with that. So both of these, all the other ones work just fine. All the other ones work. I had a scare on the middle left because when I hooked it up, the red and yellow wires were both giving me red. But then I went around on the back and very carefully separated the wires coming off the back of the signal head, and I got the yellow back. So I think maybe it was touching, perhaps. I don't know. But it works. And I'm going to verify one more time before I put on the layout. But I just wanted to show that, especially with a signal this complicated and these little teensy wires, I always test them here on the bench before I install them. And like I said, when I put this in initially, since I don't have the CMRI running, I'll probably just leave them all red. But at least it'll look kind of cool. And then, like I said, you just test all those. So, all right, there you go. So, I think I'll be okay. Like I say, the most permissive we'll get out of the signal will be approach. And a lot of the times you'll be crossing over, going into the yards, going to the coal yard, the north yard. So, most often you're going to have red over something. And I can do that, luckily. So, all right, that's just a little show. And I did cheat a little bit. This may be too dark because I have the lights dim to see the signal. But that's going to be my concrete base for the signal. It's a tad large. But what I did to get that, I was thinking, how do I make something like that? Well, I kind of cheated. I'm not going to lie to you. What I did was, I have an extra one of these. So I cut one of these out of the base of the Oradoc that I'm working on. Hey, I'm all for simple. So that's what I'm going to use for the concrete base. I don't think it's perfect. It's a little bit big, but I think we'll be fine. So, all right. Let's see if we can get this weathered up just a little bit and then installed on the layout. All right. I'm about to at least call this done enough now for posting this update. I'm not saying it's 100% scenic, but you know what? It's to the point now where I can kind of say, good, let's move on and start doing some other stuff. So I said there's still quite a bit of work to do in here, but I like it. I got the, as you can see, I got that signal added there. Now that is, again, that's not a Pensy type signal, or even New York Central, which would be kind of more appropriate for kind of the concept here. But this whole little scene here, that's a Reading prototype bracket signal that I had custom made, and it was for the old layout. This station, which is that's actually a Depots by John, a little country station or something like that. I like it. And it's painted in Reading colors for the Reading Railroad. That's a Reading prototype signal, because this little whole scene here is in memory of my father. Like I said, he was a big Reading fan, and when he passed, I decided to, model my old layout. I kind of converted it to model in the Reading, and then when we tore it down, and the whole story behind there. But I had this station, never got rid of it. I had the signal, never got rid of it, and I want to incorporate it. So this is in memory of my father. So I love you, Dad. I missed you. So I'd love to come here to the station and hang out with him and watch some trains. But this is my, paying my respects to my father. So this is my little Reading area of the layout. Like I said, I got the area probably 90% done. I might come back and want to do some more scenery here and there, but for the most part, like I say, you get a scene to a level where you can kind of walk away. You come back and look at it, you'll find other things you'll pick at and you want to improve. But it's to the point now where I can move on and do other stuff, because I have a lot of other stuff to do. So again, Dock Junction Tower, just kind of sitting there right now because I may want to do some work on the tower itself. This side's pretty well done over here for whatever these tracks are going to be. Again, one's kind of a lead for the coal yard, and the other is, I'm not sure what it is, maybe a work train or something like that. Then this is the old access area into whatever that was back in the past. But now it's just kind of an abandoned old little platform sitting there. Again, I like it. Again, that's from the old layout. I decided to, you take the time to build all this stuff, you might as well use it. So that's that. That is the evolution of this scene here. I do still have, of course, switch machines to add, and I just plopped in some relay cabinets and whatnot, but I'll get those in and secured. I did add these signs here for the road crossing. Again, this is I don't know if that's even going to focus, but those are some custom signs I bought out at the Lakeland, Ohio train show. A gentleman was selling these. Really nice. 25 cents each. I mean, to me, that's a bargain. I just had to mount them to according to my Pensy plan book. I know these are Pensy signs, sort of, at a Reading area. But anyway, they use 2.5-inch pipe, so I picked some wire that looked close to that. And there we go. So they're installed. But I still need to do, the switch machines for the crossover and whatnot. And that's relay boxes and maybe some more weeds and tufts as time goes by. But for now, one more thing. Oh, sorry, backtrack. I'm probably going to add a light right here for the parking lot. I have it. It's painted up. It's drying. It's from Bush. Ready-made one, but I'll kind of paint it and weather a little bit. But I think it would look kind of nice there. I think they would have a light, at least on the far side of that lot. And then move on to other things. So that's that. So that's the scene. Again, using the, let's see if I can kind of get a detailed look this way. I know it's a little bit dark back here. I'm kind of thinking I might want to add another LED light above it, but it's kind of really hard to see. I'm not even sure it's going to show up with the poor lighting I have over here, but that's with the MBR mat as the base, and then MBR bushes, Polak bushes, and then I did come back in, you notice, and I added some filigrane busha kind of in amongst the area there to kind of roughy it up a little bit. And then back there, same thing, same type of stuff. Now that open area will get trees, and I will remove those. I think that's the Woodland Scenics forest canopy. But as I progress in my scenic stuff, I don't like that at all. It just doesn't look right. So I'm going to take all that out at some point and, use other type of tree material to hide that backdrop there. Alright, so the next thing, I am going to wire, like I said, I'm going to wire the signal. What I plan to do for now, again, I said this before, is I don't have CMRI working just yet, but I'll probably wire down all the reds, put them to 5 volts through a resistor, so at least when I turn the layout on, they all turn on red. You know, that's something at least for now. And then I do want to get this area here. You can see I kind of got that little area with Eugene and the parking lot, but now I want to get all this area done along the back, just to get it, again, not to the point where it's 100%, but get it scenic so you don't see the bare cork and that stuff. I mean, it's still all operable, it's not a problem, but I just want to get that behind me. And I got to figure out what I'm going to do for the, not just sitting there for the entrance to come in to cover that ugliness there. This is a thought I had to put, you know, something there to make it look like there's a road that goes out of the plant. I have all these little buildings I got to figure out. They're all just sitting there right now, but I think overall it's pretty close. Okay, I'm starting to babble. Gonna wrap this up. So I said this is the main thrust of this is the station scene here. I don't know, if you're like me, man, I'd love to be sitting on that bench waiting for a pair of sharks to come by. Alright, as a final wrap up, I did a wee bit more work, so I just want to get this on the video, then wrap this up and as I get it posted. So I decided to, as you can see, the signals are now lit. That is my custom-made Reading bracket symbol signal assembly. For now, they're all red. It's just red for now until I get the CMRI working. But that does help me as I go forward. Now, the bottom two will always stay red. They're just basically going to be LEDs. That stay red forever and ever, and the rest of them will change based on the operation of the CMRI system when I get that in. Layout, or the layout. Yeah, the layout's done. Station, going to call that good for now. I'm going to pan down. I'll show you the interior. Maybe I'll try to dim it. You can see the lights. I added this light here just because I felt it would look kind of neat. I like the way that light looks. It's from eBay. I bought it on there. It's actually, they call it HO/OO. It's probably a wee bit big for HO, but I think it looks okay. I'm happy with it. And just a funny story on this, because we tell you the good, the bad, and the ugly. That light, I am not kidding you, it took me 2 hours to get installed. And you're saying, what do you mean? Well, you would not have liked to hear the language that I was using Sunday morning. It took me 2 hours on Sunday morning to do this damn thing. I drilled a hole, 1/8 hole, which was fine because it's got added a resistor and everything to clear, and the wires go through the initial hole fine. But let me just move back a little bit here. Down below on this side happens to be a couple chunks of foam. Well, I don't know if you've ever tried to put small wire. I use 24 gauge wire to extend the leads through foam. It doesn't always work all that well. And every time I would stick the leads down, they probably got caught on something, or it literally, I was sticking 3 feet of wire through and it never came out the hole. I would get mad and swear like a sailor, pull it back out, take the drill bit, stick it through, and there it is. I could see the drill bit coming through. So why the heck aren't the wires coming through? Go back and do, oh my God, it was comical. My wife later on asked me, because she was sitting above me in the kitchen and could hear me, again, using some flowery language, as I just could not get the wires through. But eventually I I calmed down, took a couple Valiums, and then got the wires through and hooked up. So that's my 2 hour freaking light post. You better like it, damn it. It took me all freaking day to get it in. I also did some more work. You wouldn't believe it. It really did take me 2 damn hours to do that. All right, a little more scenery over here just to kind of build up the end of the siding there. I like to use some weeds and some tufts and some little bushes. A little family out there taking a walk. Probably not appropriate because I don't think, it looks like the young lady there is wearing flip-flops and shorts. Probably not really a attire you would tend to see in the late 50s, but I just threw it on there just for fun. Up here on the little abandoned thing here, I did some more, just a little bit more scenic in, just threw some details down. Added some more weeds and tufts. I did this after doing that light. This kind of helped calm me down a little bit. Because I was not in the best of moods. Literally 2 hours. Can you believe that? 2 hours to get 2 wires through a hole in a layout? Good Lord. So this area, I'm sorry, it just cracks me up. So I'm calling that done. There's a, I don't know, a bad order hopper sitting there. So that is it. So let me just pause, go down lower, and see if we can see the interior on the station. So I'll be right back. Okay, just for fun, here we are in the bushes across the tracks. We climbed through, and luckily it didn't get wet in the little drainage area. So I'll just try to zoom in and see if we can get a view of the gentleman in there enjoying his cup of coffee. Not sure how well it'll focus. And I'm trying to hit the bushes with my lens. Oh, there's focus. Hey, oh! It might not work all that great. I thought I had it there for a moment, but... Alright. Oh, there he is. Hey! Hey, Bubba. So that's the station interior. Can't see it all that great, but I did that, so... Let me try with the lights out, just for fun, see what happens. Alright, I went to the other side, still can't really see a whole lot, but you see him drinking a cup of coffee? He's enjoying himself in there. And again, you can't really... The windows got a little messed up, but... That is the station. And yeah, it's going to get dark here, but... if I slowly try to do this without shaking too much because it's so dark. There's the lights from the parking lot light's pretty dim. That's really designed to go 16 to 18 volts, so I might need to up the voltage on that. And then the lights coming in the office, and then of course the lights. I showed this before on the building of that kit. That's the interior lunchroom. There's another guy chilling out. He's drinking something too. Look at that. Is he? I can't tell. I'm looking through this thing, but... So that is that. Now you can see how the... If I go slowly here, hopefully it's not too nauseating. See how the signal looks. I put that down behind the... Oops. That's not gonna work. I'm not sure how well this will show up, but just for fun. There you go. Alright, let me do a quick pause. One few final rambly bambly words to wrap up, then we're going to slap this puppy on the butt and post it. Alrighty, wrapped up. So hopefully you enjoyed the look at the scene here and kind of how it evolved, the thought process. How we went through and modified this area. Made it into I think it's a nice little scene. I really kind of enjoyed this scene here. Like I said, I would love to come over here to the station with my dad, sit down and spend an afternoon watching trains. That'd be great. But I'm very glad. Oops, I'm bumping it. Sorry about that. Very glad I have this now as like I said, as a tribute to my father. I think he'd be proud. He'd like to be here with me. So, all right, Dad, this is for you. All right, everybody. Thanks for watching. Do appreciate it. We'll continue forging ahead. Got a lot more to do on the layout, but what I want to do, had a great suggestion. Do an updated tour. A good idea. A lot has changed, and there are a fair number of relatively new subscribers who certainly aren't going to spend their life going back and looking at all the old videos. I don't blame you at all. So we'll do that. The next thing we're going to do, we're going to do an up-to-date tour. Maybe even have someone film it so you can see pretty old me in person, which, trust me, don't look forward to that. It's not much to see. But that way you can kind of walk around and actually see the layout. I can point out things, and if people might enjoy that. So that's going to probably be the next thing I do, as well as working on other things and more normal updates to come. So again, everybody, thanks for watching. Do appreciate it. And hopefully you enjoyed this look at evolution of a scene here at the Eugene East train station area.